So, guys, it's David here, and it is currently day 405. I hope you guys are doing well, and like always, are doing better than yesterday. Now, today is my last stay here in China. Me and the family are going to the airport this evening, and we will be catching a flight back to Australia. So it is my farewell here, although it is very humid and hot, so I'm quite glad to leave this place, but definitely to have some time away from my home office, to have some time away from my rigid routine has definitely allowed me to reflect on a lot of the pain points and a lot of my flaws that I have not really admitted to myself. And them and one specifically being that I am a chronicle procrastinator, right? It is the truth, guys. Before I left on this trip, I was in a dark place. I was lost, right? I was waking up every single day and then just watching TV, whether that's YouTube or Netflix or Prime Videos or whatever streaming services I could get my hands on. I'll watch just endless movies, one after the other. And the only time I would detach myself from this distraction is when I had to go pick up my sister, or when I have to eat, or perhaps some days when I'm feeling that little desperate when I go on the hub, right? That is the only time I detach myself from such distraction. And let me tell you guys, I was not living a great life. Although that to some people may sound like a wonderful life, right? If you're overworked, if you're tired every single day without any free time, having the pleasure to watch TV and do nothing may be a wonderful life, right? To have no responsibilities may be a wonderful life. But let me tell you something, guys. If you don't have meaning in life, no matter how much joy and pleasure you can devote yourself in, you are depressed. Whether you like to admit it or not, whether you feel it or not, if you don't have purpose in life, if you don't have meaning, if you feel like you're living without a cause, then life is depressing. You are not living up to your potential, and you may not be aware that the amount of damage it is doing to you spiritually, mentally, and physically. Because I had to pay the consequence for all. And for the longest time, I choose not to fight this. I choose rather to give up. And because of so, I was sad. I was living meaninglessly, and I just felt life was pointless. And what did I choose to do in such moment of adversity, or perhaps even calamity for oneself, for one's spiritual self? Is I choose to distract myself even more, to distract myself from my pain, from my sorrow, from my pity, from my own victimization. I choose to quiet down any of my conscious and present self, to be aware of the fact that I am choosing to not do anything, but I choose to throw away a good life in the pursuit and chase of avoidance of my obligation and duty of life, to bring joy, to bring safety and everything to the people I love and care about, most importantly, to make my life better. I choose to avoid that. And because of so, life was depressing. Because of so, I had to pay for the consequence of physical damage. I looked like a different person. My mental was off. My mental health was horrible. And most importantly, guys, I did not feel like I was me. It was like my soul was detached from my physical self. And it was like I was sitting in the passenger seat, watching somebody else drive my life down the highway, even though I know that that is me. But I had disengaged from my control. I lost control, and some people may argue that I had control to not do anything. And yes, I gave up. And when you give up on life, guys, it is the worst feeling I could say, guys. It is not fun. It is not fun, and although you may not feel it because you have distracted yourself from what it feels like to have pain, from what it feels like to have a meaningless life, and sometimes to stay present and to be aware of the fact that you lost yourself, is such a scary and stressful feeling that we choose to not face it, and that we just choose to lose ourselves in the endless and vast possibilities of self-destruction. We choose to do that because we want to feel more of what it already feels like to lose. We are scared over time that to have the courage to fight back, to have the courage to stand for yourself. We are scared because we don't want to lose again. We can't bear the fact that we may lose again, which is why some people never stand up for themselves, because they have lost all courage. They have lost all fight because of a major defeat they have succumbed to. They choose not to pick themselves back up. They choose not to think that they are worth more. They choose to accept mediocrity or even below that to some degree, because they are scared to be themselves, and they have lost the ability to think for themselves. And they perhaps even realize that they can't overcome themselves because they have been procrastinating about the same thing for months or even years. And what makes one person think that they can just do it today? And I have to sympathize with those people, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like, how can you believe that you can do something if you haven't yet done it before, or that you have lost by doing so? It takes more than courage to have someone overcome themselves, but we are not trying to overcome, guys. We cannot overcome ourselves. We are not trying to fight ourselves, because if we are trying to fight ourselves, then we will never win the battle with ourselves, because we don't even understand what we are trying to fight, and we don't even understand why in the first place we choose not to do. See, the thing is, guys, we are not trying to overcome our obstacles. We are not trying to overcome the demon within us. There is no demon. It is us. And when we are lost, when we are living life uncertain of what might happen tomorrow, because we don't know what we are going to do, without a plan, without a strategy, we don't know what is in stock for us tomorrow. And we are not trying to overcome because we don't understand us. Remember, guys, we are not trying to overcome anything. We are just trying to understand ourselves. We are trying to understand why we made the choice we did. We are trying to understand why we choose not to do. And we are trying to just understand why we have been procrastinating, that why we have choose to let go, why we have given up. We are merely trying to understand why. We are trying to understand ourselves. And by doing so, we will stop being so harsh on ourselves. We will stop being so harsh in another way, that we will be content and satisfied with where we are. But we will understand that there's nothing wrong with us. There's no one we are trying to fight. There's no one we are trying to overcome. And the only reason why you are not the person you want to be today, because you have thought wrongly about who you are. You don't know who you are. And till this point, I know so little about who I am. Therefore, the search for self-discovery will never stop, because we change every single day, and we have to renew our mind every single day to be up to date with what we are, who we want to become, and what we believe. If anything is out of sync, then we will be uncertain with ourselves. And when we are uncertain, we lose courage, we lose confidence, and we lose the hope to be what it is we believe ourselves to be. So remember, although some people may seem perfect, although some people may seem and display themselves as a superior being, just remember, those people may or may not be. But those people who are understand who they are and chose to pursue them because they understood, not because they had overcome.